Welcome to Meadow Pond Trail. This is at Hagerman National Wildlife Refuge. I think they consider it Sherman. It's really Sherman, Denison, Pottsboro. It's kind of hard for me. It's kind of the Sherman Pottsboro area, and it's great. It really gets you away from the city. It gets you away from road noise, and this trail is 2.6 miles out and 2.6 miles back. It's not a loop. Today is 95 degrees. It is a hot hike. Well, I'm just starting out, which you can probably see behind me. And I haven't progressed very far. But this is my first hike with this big camera and tripod, and I've done a hike with this backpack before. I probably have a little more stuff in it today. Well, I know I do because I brought 3 water bottles instead of 1 or 2. And I had this camera in there and the spare battery, little remote control so I can activate it remotely if I need to take pictures. But I also have an injured shoulder, so I probably would be holding this with my right arm since I'm right-handed, but my right shoulder is injured and I can't really hold anything with it. So fortunately, with a little bit of cringing, I can get the strap of the backpack over my right arm and then buckle it together here, and my shoulder doesn't hurt. I actually brought a sling for it, which I'll wear here in just a bit, because after a while my shoulder and my arm really hurt after dangling and swinging, so I'll have to do that. Here's the trail. So it's 95 degrees today at this hike. It's definitely a hot day to hike. It's late in the afternoon. I think most people would say this is not a good time to hike, but I actually really like the hot days. But I brought lots of water. Drank lots of water because the reality is, with that backpack on there, I sweat a lot. It's a very hot day. Notice my hat and my long sleeve shirt keep the sun off of me, but I can hit the trail. I didn't do many of these shots simply because for every shot of me walking away, there's a time or a distance that I have to walk back. I don't even know what I'm doing there, checking my phone for something, but then I have to walk back and grab the camera. That's just way too much work on a hot day like this. I'm really a big fan of the water. Ponds, lakes. I like turtles and fish. I like seeing the birds, and the water certainly attracts a lot of them. There's a lot of water. There are ponds and a big creek that kind of intertwine the trail that you'll see. And on the trail, it is a road, a maintenance road that is locked, but you will see signs of human traffic, of course, with the maintenance folks driving a bulldozer back there or whatever to maintain it. So it's nature, but it's man-made. So this is one of the several. There's at least 2 of these, maybe 3, maybe even 4 of these concrete. Well, some of them are like this, where they're low for the water to pass over, and I know there's at least one that's high that's made as a bridge, a road bridge, and the water passes under. Maybe 2. Maybe I'm thinking about 2 of the road bridges and maybe just one of these, but we'll see as we get further along the trail. I think there's two of these bridges. This is another man-made thingamajiggy that we have to go over. And what's interesting about this is, as you can see, is when the water was high here at Lake Texoma, and this is now I think the 7th of July, 2019, the water actually came down here, is what I'm guessing, came down here and actually flowed over this. And this is not, this is probably a good 10 feet tall. And it looks like it flowed right over based on the debris, and then kept cruising down the creek. So, keep cruising. Well, that didn't take long. This is not far past the 1 mile mark, and here is another bridge. Now, the water did not apparently come so high that it got on top of this bridge. You can see the creek on the left side here, or at least a little waterway. It's not really a creek, it's dry back there. This is definitely, it seems a little taller than the other one, maybe by just a couple of feet. On the other side, very still, stagnant water. What I noticed are these things. They look like poo, or doo-doo, dung, caca, whatever else you want to call it, but I don't know. I call this poo vision. I don't know what they're from. You can see the trail is very pretty. Trees. There's quite a few sections, quite a bit of the distance of this trail is just like this. This is an actual path or official business for the people who conserve the wildlife area, the conservation area. And so that's what we're walking on. It's very smooth, very slightly rocky. It's like they put a little bit of rock down, but not so much that you're sinking in. It's a very firm surface. I haven't walked long, and you can see right there is another bridge. And I think this is my favorite bridge because last time I was here, there were gar fishing. I believe they were gar, or fishing, gar fish swimming around, and I think they were hunting and waiting for bugs or something. They were fish with a bill, and there were some anywhere that were minimum of 12 inches, and some were upwards of 18 inches or a foot and a half. And they were really cool. I'm going to see if they're out here. Again, in the water. Give you an idea of how powerful the water was. This is all washed up. This is a big pile of washed up wood. And if you look over here, this is a monster piece of wood. I don't know how much of a tree that is. It's gone under there, but that is a big piece of wood to be floating in the water and washing up over here from wherever it came from. This trail has a good mix of water and just wide open spaces where there's just this, I don't know if you call this a prairie, large open fields, and of course you can see it's not really a forest of pine trees. I think of a forest as pine trees, but there is a lot of wooded area surrounding the trail. As with most trails that have grass in them, at least in Texas, you have these pricker things, and there are different varieties of these on the trail. I think I spent about 10 minutes picking pricker things out of my socks after I was done on the trail. but they look soft and fluffy, and with the breeze, and the sound of the grass blowing, it's actually fantastic. Just a little bit of a nuisance. As you get near the last, I would say 0.8 of a mile. I think I was right at 2 miles at this point, and you come across the railroad tracks, and it's right by the Meadow pond that you see with all these big, I guess they're called lily pads. But as you get close to the end of the trail, and you'll know that because you'll be close to the train tracks, and you'll see here in a minute, we get right by the train tracks before we turn around. Ooh, almost done. I think we have like 0.2 of a mile, maybe less. Finally next to the railroad tracks, and there's another train. This is it. I have prickers in my shoes, or in my socks, and I don't know if you can see all those little things. They're not bothering me, so I'm going to let them be, and I'm going to make the 2.8 mile trek back that way hastily. Well, it's 2.8 miles back to the end, and I'm about, I would say I'm less than 10 minutes from the car. I don't know what that puts my mileage at. I don't know what I have left in just 10 minutes, but the last mile has been brutal. It's been 95 degrees all day, which I actually like, but there's a breeze, as you can tell. This is the only video I've taken on the way back for the 2.8 mile trek back to the car. I'm just ready to get back because it's running late. It's actually 6 p.m. past an early dinner, which we normally do, so I'm trying to get back home. And my legs are a little tired. This is not something I consider exercise, even though I probably should. But today I started off with about a 1 mile walk with my wife and daughter, and then did 20 minutes on a stationary bike. I sound like I'm bragging. Maybe I am. Who cares? I guess it's my video. I'll say what I want. I did 20 minutes, which equated to 6 miles. On a stationary bike, which I consider my actual exercise for the day. And then this. And this is what I love to see right here. No, it's not my car, but this last little stretch of tree tunnel is a very short stretch. And then on the other side is the parking area, aka my car, where I can take my sweat-soaked shirt off, get in, and go home. I'm excited. Actually, yeah, I was hoping that was not the 1 mile sign, because that's a long distance for me to walk at this point, considering how tired I am. That's actually the sign for this pond. So anyway, whew, say goodbye to the trail. So I'm almost done. Be sure to like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. This is Scott Ochoa reporting to you on scene at the Meadow Pond Trail at Hagerman National Wildlife Refuge. See you next time.